11 o'clock on the nose.
The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And we're on the air finally. I don't know. We thought we were off. We were on. CJ was too busy bringing me up to speed. Well, it's another Wednesday after a city council meeting of Tuesday. So we've got tons of things to talk about. We've got just so many things that we have to cover. It's, you know, a half an hour just can't, you know, we need a mini-series.
And I started us 40-second late, and I'm so sorry about that. This is what happens when you get caught up in conversation, because CJ's a moron today.
Well, yeah, he's got a bad eye. I expect you to see you wearing an eye patch like that.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't want to give the audience a thrill, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, this is what happens. And, you know, like I said, I'm so sorry for our audience at home that this went out late. But I have to immediately say that you're right. Last night was a council. And I sent a letter to the city council yesterday prior to meeting time, because the city clerk did receive it. And all of them said, oh, no, I didn't read it. You know why you didn't read it, you moronic bimbos over at the city council? Because you saw the name CJ Ferry on it. I am so sick and tired of people saying, oh, well, it's from CJ, I don't care. Do not shoot the message. You want to shoot the message and knock yourself out. But the statement was well received by the public. You do not represent the mayor. You represent the people. And your vote last night of 6-3, even after one of your colleagues clearly showed you that it was a farce, a lie, that there was no savings. So let's list them off. And I'm not going to list the ones that didn't vote against it. I'm going to list the ones who voted for it, because you're idiots. You have no clue what you're doing. None. And I'm going to even call you out for why you probably did it. So let's start with the first vote for yes, which was who? That was Steve Camara. I wonder why you would vote for dividing the departments, even though you have the proof that there's no savings. Joe Camara, you did it out of spite. We don't care for any other reason. Okay? Steve Long, you voted for it because there's never been a Long in history that voted against anything a mayor wanted. Okay? So let's keep moving along the line. Okay? You have...
You're up to Long.
We're up to Long. I'm trying to figure out who I'm missing here. This is crazy. I'm having a bad day. But let's go on to the ones that...
Cliff Ponte.
Yep, we got Cliff Ponte who voted for it. Why, we don't know. Linda voted for it. Yeah, well, who said last time, oh, well, this is questionable. I don't know. I'm having a difficult time making the decision. But you voted for it anyways. Yeah. Nice show, but guess what?
Well, Linda... And
then, of course, there's Pam...
yeah, well,
LeBeau.
Now you got the 6 in.
Okay, yeah, and we got the 6 in. And why did Pam LeBeau vote for it? Because, well, I want something for my park, I'm sure. Again, you people are representing the mayor. You're not representing the people.
Is my fence up?
Yeah, is my fence up? Exactly.
Listen, CJ,
I'm so tired of it.
Oh yeah, well, you know, forget about, you know, what their motivations are, but let's look at what this does to the taxpayer again. Welcome to Bipolarville. Because maybe, you know, Linda, you got some splaining to do, because, and the other 5 do, because I just, you know, Richard Cabaceres went over the numbers, said they didn't make sense, and kudos to Richard Cabaceres. But then again, Rich, get used to it. There hasn't been a number that's been accurate, that's been presented to the city council in about 5 or 6 years. So that's nothing new. The numbers don't add up. But let's look at this again. and we talked about this a little bit on the last show. What does this thing accomplish? We're splitting a department and making it into 2 departments, which now diminishes the work of those departments, and then we create 2 supervisors, 2 department heads, and we reduce Kenny Pacheco's salary slightly, $17,000. Still making pretty good, 98 grand plus Benny, so he's making 6 figures. And we give our friend another job in a department that, well, arguably, is going to be very, very small. And we give him a nice salary. Well, it doesn't stop there, though. This is where we get bipolar. The justification is efficiency? Really? Nobody ever said Kenny Pacheco wasn't doing a good job. Nobody said that these departments weren't efficient. It's just the justification. Splitting, as I said, in times of financial crisis, we do more with less, not less for more. So we give this guy a pay raise, but stop everybody. We're not finished. We're talking about shrinking because he's using numbers, not costs and efficiency now to justify this organization. I laid off 4 middle management, one of which was paid for by CDA, so it's only 3. And who does that? Do you see a hospital with a CEO and just nurses, no supervisors to supervise the daily work? So now we're going to have a DCM headed by this new guy who's obviously pals with the mayor. And they took out all the middle management. So they're just going to let the employees go out and run amok. There's going to be no on-the-street supervision. But wait, he's going to leave his office and not do his job as a department head to go out and supervise the day-to-day operations? Well, let's eliminate all the sergeants and all the NCOs in the military and all the officers below general. Let's have a general and a bunch of soldiers, and we'll let the soldiers go run out and do whatever the hell they want. Great efficiency. That's government at its best. So this is what we've done in the first place, and we justify a little bit lower salary because it's a smaller department. But wait, bipolar, here it comes. They may shift the engineering department over into this, under this umbrella. Guess what that means? That means he gets a pay raise because he's supervising more people. And what have we accomplished? Oh, we're going to give this guy a job and he's going to take less money, but wait a minute, he's not going to get less money. And where's the contradiction there? You say that we want to shrink this department for efficiency, then we expand it by talking about getting the engineering department under this umbrella, and of course he's going to get a pay raise because now he's supervising more people. The department is enlarged, and the city council will vote for that too. And it's like, do you people have any, do you have even a modicum of ability to comprehend what is given to you? You got 250 emails? I'm sure they were all positive, Steve. I mean, this is absolute absurdity, people. This is what they're doing to our city. But they're going to save it with more market rate housing. Don't worry about it. We're going to save it by building market rate housing that nobody's going to come to. So this is the council. How can you justify these votes? I mean, I want to know when the figures were shown to be inaccurate, that the entire premise of this reorganizational attempt has been shown to be severely flawed, and we get a 6-3 vote. It must really be hard breathing with your head that far up your derriere, because I'm telling you, this is absolutely incredible. I can't believe the things that go on in that council chamber under the guise of government.
Hey, you know what? Ta-ra-ra-boom, D-A. Ta-ra-ra-boom, D-A. Because let me tell you something. That's what's going to happen. It's going to go boom, and nobody cares. And this is the problem, okay? I started explaining this to many of the people that were in the city council chamber prior to the meeting, prior to Sean Kadim even showing up. And you know what they said? How come you're the only one that has this information? I said, no, excuse me. I'm not the only one that has this information. You can have this information too. All you got to do is ask and look for it. But you know what? They don't. When it comes to trash, 9 out of 10 times I'll defer to Nikki Medeiros. Because you know what? She takes a lot of time in looking into the trash issues. When I want to look at open meeting stuff, I refer to other people before I go out and do this. People think I have nothing better to do with my life but sit at home in front of a computer and write complaints and do nothing else. And I finally explained it to the special assistant to the mayor. I'm not the only one. There's a group of people out there that are doing this because we're holding you accountable. So guess what, Jazel? You asked for it. You got it, Toyota.
Well, you know, no,
I mean, this is getting to be ridiculous already.
It's beyond. It's
Okay,
beyond.
and then
ridiculous.
Ken Fiola goes in front of them saying, oh no, we have to do this because we have developers who want to make market rate housing in these mills up on Martin Street, and unless we get this from you, they may not do this. They said that time is of the essence. So I looked over what was presented. Blank, 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 blank. No information. And all 9 of them went, yay! Yes, we're going to vote for it.
Yeah, well,
what is the problem here?
No, there's no problem, CJ. Kenny Fiola said,
And therefore it's gospel.
with his great record of moving this city forward economically, because let's face it, when Kenny Fiola took over FROED, whatever it is, whatever acronym you want to use, but let's just change the whole name and just call it the Department of Total Destruction, you know, the DTD. This city actually wasn't the poorest city in the state.
No, it wasn't.
And it did have a lot more businesses, and guess what? Without an organization that milks money from the public, we actually had a kind of a fairly viable city. Granted, it wasn't the greatest jobs in the world, but people did have jobs. And I understand that it's not his fault that the mills moved out. It's not his fault, but it is his fault when he continues to go before the council and pretend that everything he says is the panacea. The economy's going to get better. Well, guess what? The economy has not gotten better over your entire tenure. We have always remained at the top or near the top of unemployment, and this city financially has gotten worse and worse over the years. And now, forget the casino. The casino was our 5-year BS save Fall River. The casino was going to save Fall River. That's a wrap. That's a done deal. See you later. That's gone now. So we need another one. So now the new magic bullet, there are actually multiple bullets. The first bullet is TIFs. Give everybody everything for free, and then they'll take everything for free, and when a freebie stops, they'll leave. So but we haven't learned that. With A.J. Wright and all the rest of the people that sucked the city dry and then left our people high and dry, crying about losing jobs after working there. And now the new one, the new bullet, the new magic bullet, market rate housing. Come on. Gee, God, market rate housing? Yeah, that's it. That's why we started 40 seconds late. We were out looking for market rate housing because the fact is that I know that if I'm a yuppie, a young upwardly mobile professional, and I've got money to afford market rate housing, I'm going to open up my real estate guide and I'm going to look and I'll say, Oh, yeah, Fall River's got tons of this stuff, yeah. Let's see. Near the top in the state in opiate use, at the bottom of the state in average income, a school system that's a horror show, and rampant crime. Selected as the second worst city in the state to live in by some accounts, others first. We're at the top of the heap in every negative category that we can think of, and we're at the bottom of the pile in every positive. Yep, that's right, Kenny. They're going to flock to market rate housing. They are going to flock. We've already got market rate. We already saw what happened down on the waterfront. I know the guy who actually bought the penthouse, who actually purchased the penthouse apartment at Point Gloria. He was on the Fall River Regional Task Force with me many years ago. He bought that penthouse and paid a lot of money for it, and then within a few years he was surrounded by Section 8s. And guess what? He doesn't live there anymore. He doesn't live in Fall River anymore.
Well, interesting that you say that, because Ken Fiola finally came clean. Because we're talking about Commonwealth Landing not too long ago, where he says, oh, no, you can't put in Section 8 housing, you can't put in low-income housing. Last night, Ken Fiola turns around and says, oh, no, 80% has to be market rate. Up to 20% can be non-market rate. Non-market rate is the euphemism for low income. He says, but the city council has control over that. Really? They have control over that? Because if the city council and the TIF board says no, then it doesn't happen. No, that's bull, because they're always going to say yes, because here's what the property owner's going to do. Come in, I'm not going to make my mortgage payment. They're going to foreclose everything. I got to take Section 8 housing because there's no market rate rents here. And why? Because the report from CDA, the report from HUD, the report from the state, the federal government says that Fall River cannot, doesn't say should not, doesn't say may not, says cannot support market rate rents until the income level of its residents increases. Amazing. Was that Milton Friedman who said that? Because we wouldn't pay attention to it.
Well, look, the fact is, as you said, look, there's never going to be a guarantee where any of this market rate housing doesn't have low income, or euphemism, non-market rate, which means welfare. And why? Because I will tell you how they will make the city council. Yeah, Kenny Fiola. It's the old catch-22. Pass the buck. Kenny Fiola says, "Oh, the city council can control that. They can demand 100% market rate." Yeah, and what happens when they do? Kenny Fiola will be in front of that council saying, "This developer will not develop this property unless you allow him to have at least some percentage of non-market rate housing, so he can ensure he has a sustainable income flow." And guess what? The council will all jump up like they always do and say, "We have to do this. We have to do this because we have to give them no taxes. We have to give them everything to come to Fall River." Well, guess what? Linda, Ray, all the ones that have been there for years and have sung the same song. Nobody's coming to Fall River, market rate housing. They were selling houses in Detroit for $1, and they couldn't get rid of them because nobody wanted to go to Detroit. Nobody wanted them. They were giving the houses away. Give it, take it. Give us $1, we'll give you a house, you rehab it. Didn't work. Why? Crime, poverty. That is the great repeller. It's like opposites attract. You get two positives, they repel each other. You can't. you get a city with this many problems, and nobody figures this out yet. Nobody has figured out you can't continue to drive the people. Anybody who can move out of Fall River, basically 90% of them are gone. And you continue to raise taxes, and you're going to drive other people into the housing authority housing, because the old people on a fixed income will lose their houses. You're going to keep driving up the taxes and the fees and playing like you got your head in the sand while, you're fiddling while Fall River burns. It's like the transfer of money yesterday. We're going to eliminate the trash collection fee, but we have to transfer money into the fund because we're not making enough money. How are we going to do that? I mean, is everybody really that stupid? But CJ, the problem is, and what really, really bothers me, is they know that. They can't, nobody is that stupid. And they just ignore it and make up a reason. They find a reason to vote for it. And it's like, Richard Cabaceras came up with all the numbers. They've been sitting in that council chamber looking at erroneous numbers, meeting after meeting. How many times did Nunes and Kathy Ann change numbers? How many times did they presented things to that council with no justification at all, no proof that it was going to work? And they all complain and whine and procrastinate, and they shift in their chairs, and they put their hands on their heads, and then they vote for it. To me, that is a betrayal of the public trust. And they are guilty as the mayor in the demise of this city.
Fall River has no
probably
trust.
even more guilty.
Fall River has no trust. Fall River is a city of nimrods, imbeciles. They follow the Pied Piper, okay? Because you have the boy emperor, the Wizard of the Snow Owl.
Won't say that.
Okay?
Where's
The
my
Wizard of
garlic
the Snow
clove?
Owl, okay, who touts his little pipe, and they all fall in line behind him. You're negative. He's trying to make a change. He's trying to make a change. Even the mayor said to me, I've only been here 8 weeks. Give me a chance. You don't have a chance. That's the problem. Everyone thinks you have a chance. You don't. Okay? And the lie, the perpetuated lie that it doesn't happen overnight, it happens as fast, as far, and as slow as you want it to go. Okay? Ken Fiola said yesterday, 2 weeks isn't going to make a difference. So you could not turn around and say, well, you know what? Let's review these numbers. Because Richard Cabaceras has asked for these numbers to be clarified and proven of the mayor. And the mayor still hasn't done it. So what does the mayor have to hide? Why didn't the city council just turn around and say, you know what? We're going to table this till the next meeting just so we can get the numbers from the mayor. Oh, no, we can't do that because Pam LeBeau may not get her park. She may not get her fences. Linda may tick off another mayor. Guess what? You're not in a seat to represent the mayor. You are in the seat to represent the people and the best interests of Fall River. And if you can't read the reports, if you can't read what's presented to you, and if you can't do what a basic third-grade student can do, and that's add and subtract, then you really shouldn't be in that seat. And maybe those requests of the groups of people that are coming forward asking for the recall of Mayor Correa, or asking for the recall of Linda Pereira, of Ray Mitchell, of Steve Long, maybe those people should be listened to. What part, what ignoramus cannot see that the people don't want your actions?
Well, you know what the problem with that is, CJ, that people, when they're desperate, they cling to any glimmer, any straw
I
they
understand.
can. And the people in this city are so desperate to believe that something's going to change. We've got a new mayor now, and but you have to cut through the BS. Something has to be done immediately. This city, what is the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing, repeating the same action, and expecting a different result.
Right.
And the fact is that, look at, and it's the oldest political con in the world. Give me time. My plan's a 30-year plan. My plan's a 10. Well, we've said it time and time again. Fall River doesn't have 10 years. It doesn't have 30 years. It doesn't have maybe 10 months.
And
the way we're going. And and the fact is, you can say that, and the mayor can say, I've only been in 8 weeks. But the problem is, the plans that he is putting forth are fundamentally the same thing that's been done. So we don't need time. You're not doing what you have to do. You're already looking at raising taxes. You're murmuring about a 2.5 override. You've eliminated a fee, a tax that you can't eliminate because you've already proven it. You're already running short with the tax.
Right.
So these are things that you look at that any rational human being would go, you know something? All you're doing is digging a hole deeper. We elected you to come out of the blocks and doing something different. Truly reorganize this department. Now we're going to have building and grounds in the school department. The building and grounds is already an ordinance now, so we're playing around with word games and number games, personnel number games, but we're on the track again. What are we doing now? We're spending money. And we're building more housing. And that is going to probably be 20% occupied, and that 20% will be the welfare people.
And Chip, the thing is that, Pam LeBeau brushed me off. And that's fine. You know what, Pam? I don't care. I didn't vote for you in the first place because you're a wingnut. Okay? But any way you look at it, I am a citizen. I am a taxpayer. And you are supposed to represent me, like it or not. And if you can't do that job, whether it be for one person, 100 people, or 88,000 people, then you should not sit in that seat at all. And when I brought you information about a fire standard for manning the fire trucks, you turned around and told me that there is no such standard. And I said, we will put this into ordinance. If you don't want to do it, we'll do it. Because I will get the signatures to put it on the ballot. She brushed me off. Then she went and she talked to Jason Burns. She asked Jason Burns. Jason Burns says, there is no standard. It wasn't that there was no standard. It was the way the question was asked. Because she did what? She played the political bull.
Well, I listen, I'm going to blame him too. As a union representative, as the president of the firefighters union, if the head of if someone from the Public Safety Committee came up and asked me about Manning, I would quote the Manning standard verse. I don't care how she asked the question. I would figure out a way to make sure I got the Manning standard into the conversation to impress upon the city how important it is to have the sufficient amount of members on the fire trucks. And he was derelict in his duty, period.
Well,
and
the kicker is that, according to our sources, and they've been unconfirmed, the mayor is going to be asking for a 2% salary and 2% staffing cut. Police, fire, and all the unions. All right? Really? So again, we need money, so we're going to cut fire and police. Isn't that amazing?
Well, we hire our friends.
That's right.
And we hire more supervisors and pay more money. This is what I said. We don't need
views and opinions
2 years.
Right.
Stay angry, because we are.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, have a great day and stay angry and watch us on Richard Urban, because we're going to be talking more about this later. Thanks.
That's next week.